Has this ever happened to you? So you're browsing the internet, and you notice there's a new anime on the block that everyone is talking about. Reddit, Facebook, friends and family, no matter where you go, it just seems to pop up everywhere. This goes on for a while until you finally give in. You watch that shiny new Chinese cartoon, fully prepared to immerse yourself in a new fandom. But afterwards, the only thing you can think is, that's it? Because I definitely have. Hi, I'm some guy on the internet, and this is my list for top 10 most disappointing anime.
Science. We're Alchemist.
Number 10, Full Metal Alchemist. Now, before some of you try and have me killed, I'm referring to the original 2003 incarnation of Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood. See, Full Metal Alchemist is an anime that has so much hype surrounding it, the mere mention of its name summons weeaboos from basements around the globe.
We're the Elric brothers. Not to brag or anything, but we're pretty well known.
It's even got the #1 spot on my anime list. So, with all the hype surrounding it, I went into the show expecting a wild ride of alchemy and shonen adventure. Sadly, however, the episodes just kinda drag on to the point where every episode is little more than a chore. Word of advice, just watch Brotherhood.
So, if I'm a monster, then what the hell does that make you?
Please, you have to help me. I don't know what to do. No! I won't let that happen!
To be fair, I actually liked the first season of Tokyo Ghoul. I didn't think it was the second coming of anime Jesus or anything like everyone else thought. That's a lot to say for Neo Yokio. But the show was very beautifully animated and had a plot that kept me engaged enough to tune in every week.
Ever since then, I haven't felt like the same person.
Take all of that and combine it with this downright breathtaking opening, you've got the mix for a pretty hype anime. Like many others, most of my disappointment came from the second season of the series, Tokyo Ghoul Route A. Not because the plot diverged from the manga, but because the second season simply wasn't able to capture the charm that made the first season so popular. And with animation gems like this, it's pretty easy to understand why so many people didn't like it. Man, I used to love Bleach. I remember all the late nights staying up at my friend's house trying to catch the latest episodes. Going crazy the first time I ever saw Bankai. It was a huge part of my childhood years, and it's a big part of the reason why I got into anime in the first place. That made the massive decline in quality of Bleach over the years all the more painful to watch. The story kinda just fell to pieces, and the characters just ceased to be interesting. Honestly, it just broke my heart. I was initially rather hesitant to put Your Lie in April on this list because, honestly, I thought it was a pretty decent show. So, what went wrong? The problem with Your Lie in April is it's almost comically superficial drama. The show is very bad at giving any real sort of depth to any of the issues it presents, opting instead to beat the audience over the head with flashbacks and sob stories. While watching it, I constantly found myself in a mindset where I really wanted to get emotionally involved in the story, but I could never really immerse myself. Everything just seemed so artificial and forced. I'll give it credit in the visual department in that it was a joy to look at, and it was definitely entertaining. I just don't think I'll ever be able to co-sign on all the rave reviews. See, there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who love Dragon Ball Super, and those who think it's a soulless, plotless money grab by Toei to milk the nostalgia of a series for all it's worth. I'll let you guess which camp I'm in. Ultra Instinct is kinda cool though. So, the first half of the first season of Sword Art Online was great. I loved the pacing, the animation, the characters, all of it was awesome. But then, episode 11 came along with the most forced anime relationship I have ever seen. We went from badass anime action to two 15-year-olds playing house in the course of one episode. Not okay.
I'm a solo player, got it. I don't care if I have to play as Orange for a couple of days.
I was actually really excited for this anime. Studio Trigger really wowed me with shows like Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill. So naturally when I heard about another one of their productions, I jumped right onto the hype train. Unfortunately, the only thing that awaited for me in this anime was disappointment. The characters were bland and the plot was a garbled mess that felt like the unholy child of Sense8 and Psycho-Pass. All in all, it wasn't terrible, just extremely forgettable. After being recommended this show non-stop for what seemed like an eternity, I finally gave this one a go, and here's what I found. Madoka Magica starts off a normal magical girl anime, complete with frilly, hair-matching outfits, a pure-hearted but ditzy main character, and this cute talking... thing. Sounds normal, right? It isn't until the latter half of episode 3 where we start to realize just what kind of show this is. Madoka Magica is a deconstruction of the entire magical girl genre that takes a dark spin on the tropes that most of us have come to be familiar with. This is where most of the praise of the show comes from. The pure shock value of juxtaposing the carefree nature we've come to expect out of this kind of anime with such a level of pure what the f***ery will definitely give you some notoriety. But that's kind of it. Outside of the craziness, I found the show to be much too flat. Sure, I had a few eyebrow raises here and there, but there was never really any moment where I felt strongly one way or the other. Oh boy, I can already taste the salt from this one. Now, before I tear into this piece of shit anime, let me start by saying that I thought the concept of ReZero was absolutely amazing. Being in a fantasy world with a built-in respawn ability is a genuinely interesting idea, and if nothing else, it gave me a reason to watch the show. But it has one big problem that ruins the entire thing. Actually, two. These two. First of all, Subaru is dumb. Very dumb. Inexcusably dumb. So dumb, in fact, that the show was painful to watch. He puts himself into situation after situation any regular person could have figured out in mere seconds.
You stupid!
Now, I didn't have much of a problem with Worst Girl on the other hand. Sure, she had no personality. Sure, she had an okay at best design. But none of that really bothered me. My main problem with her was Subaru's inexplicable devotion to her, and the show's insistence on keeping her the plot MacGuffin, while simultaneously refusing to develop her character beyond her one-dimensional love interest archetype. I mean, honestly, if the author just knew how to write characters, I'm sure the show would have been awesome. And now for the most disappointing anime of all time. It had the merch. It had the cosplay. It had the movie deals. Yes, Attack on Titan truly had it all. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the 2013 Wit Studio production that would go on to become one of the most popular anime series of the decade. The unconventional art style, the unique setting, the gore, everything about it. Attack on Titan had something to offer just about everyone, including myself. I was practically glued to my computer screen every time a new episode released. So when the first season ended with that cliffhanger, it set season 2 up to be the most highly anticipated anime release of all time. Except nobody cared because the studio decided to wait 4 f***ing years to release it.
Why? Why?
I just don't get it. From a business perspective, it made no sense. Attack on Titan was a titan in the world of anime. It was insanely popular. But instead of capitalizing on that popularity, the studio decided to focus its efforts on 2 live-action adaptations that were honestly terrible, and ultimately to keep the fandom waiting. The most common reason I hear for this decision is that the contents of what would go on to become Season 2 simply weren't as interesting as the first part of the series. And while I personally find myself agreeing with that statement, I just don't think it justifies the way they snuffed out the show. They literally killed all the hype it had going for it. Attack on Titan wasn't a perfect anime by any means, but based off popularity alone, it had the potential to be the successor to the big 3, the next anime poster child. But due to a series of bad production decisions, that just didn't happen. And it's honestly kind of disappointing. So, what'd you think? Do you agree? Or is my taste in anime as bad as your taste in waifu? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more bad opinions. And thanks for watching.